Had a bad day recently? Or a couple? Or a bunch strung together until they're a week or more? Welcome to the club. There's like 7.5 billion of us. Hey, welcome back to my channel, where you are what matters. In the last few videos, and this one, and the next one, and probably the several after that, I'm trying to address the things that we are going through this quarantine business, from stress to worry to exhaustion. Sometimes you don't even know why or what's wrong. All you know is that you're having a really bad day. And through all of this, we're just kind of walking around vaguely stressed, worried, anxious. So we're all kind of set up to just have a whole bunch of bad days back to back to back. Personally, one little thing will hit me that really shouldn't have upset me that much. And the next thing you know, I'm upset, I'm mad, I'm struggling with tears, and I don't even really know what the hell happened. And on top of it all, considering our situation and all of the stay-at-home orders, there's nowhere to run to. I mean, I guess if you're working at the dining room table, you could go to the sofa, but is that really gonna cut it? And if we're being honest, most of us are going from the sofa to the kitchen, myself included. Somehow, none of this even adds up to remotely what it's like to leave the office, kiss that bad day goodbye, and go have happy hour with your friends. So today, I'm going to be giving you a whole bunch of ways that you can use to turn around a bad day. And if you're brand new around here, go ahead down and hit the subscribe button. That's a good one. And if you're new around here and you want to make sure you don't miss an episode, go ahead down and hit the subscribe button below. The first way I'm going to address to figure out how to deal with this bad day is to just figure out what part you had in it. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty or anything. And some days, bad days are all our own fault, let's be honest. But a lot of times, it's not just us. I mean, if your pet dies, it's not your fault. That's just a bad day. But if instead, you let yourself get sucked down the social media rabbit hole and it sent you on an emotional roller coaster to hell, then yeah, that might have been your fault. And in order to deal with this, you're gonna have to take some ownership of the situations that caused you to have a bad day that you have control over. So think back to earlier in the day. What was going on before everything went to hell in a handbasket? I mean, was it merely a string of unfortunate events? Did you accidentally spill your coffee and then the traffic was awful and your boss was in a bad mood? Or were you miserable because you stayed up too late and you binged too many episodes on Netflix and you didn't pack your lunch and you didn't lay out your clothes and it sent your whole morning to hell? Doing this is important in both to figure out how you got here and to figure out how you're going to prevent this from happening again. This step is important both in figuring out how to prevent this in the future and also helping you figure out how to deal with the emotions that you've got right now. I mean, you could sit there and be angry all day long about how your boss yelled at you just because they were in a bad mood, or you could realize that they were just in a bad mood, that it was not okay, but it wasn't your fault, and you could just do some deep breathing and let it go and have it not ruin the rest of your day. Or you could also make sure that you set an alarm for yourself so that you don't stay up too late, and make sure that you're packing your lunch and setting out your clothes and doing all of the things that will make tomorrow morning so much better than you had today. The next tool to getting out of a funk is gratitude. Picture it. You're in the middle of a really, really bad day. It's not really that hard for me to imagine right now. But anyway, you're in the middle of a really bad day and you stop and you think of 1 to 3 things that you are deeply, genuinely grateful for. And it changes your brain chemistry. That's what gratitude does. It is amazing. It is very, very difficult to be angry or depressed and grateful at the same time. Then take those 1 to 3 things and write them down. Put them in a journal that you keep with you at work or on your desk all the time. And then that way, not only are you going to break the pattern of what's going on right now with you being miserable, you will also be compiling a list of things that you can go back and look at when you're struggling so hard that you can't even think of anything right now. This will become a new habit for you, and it will actually help you rewire your brain so that when you're having a bad day, you will automatically start thinking about the things that you're grateful for instead of all of the stuff that's making you miserable. The next tool that you can use to turn around a bad day is to change your perspective. One of the reasons that a bad few moments can turn into a whole bad day is because the bad few moments generated some really negative emotions, and then we just swam in them for the rest of the day. You just go around thinking about how upset you are and reliving the negative moments over and over and over until your brain is just flooded with miserable brain chemistry. When you've had a bad moment in your day and you feel like this pattern is starting, then it's time to change your thoughts. You can do this by imagining a friend telling you what has happened to them and thinking about how you would look on them and what you would say to them. What kind of advice would you give them? Imagine doing that and then thinking about yourself. Can you give that advice to yourself? Will it help you turn your day around? Or you can imagine telling this whole story to your ultimate role model. Even if you don't know them, they don't have to be someone you're ever going to speak to. If you're totally interested in them, then you probably have an idea of what sort of advice they would give. What would they tell you about this situation? Can you take that advice and put it to use to help fix the situation so that you're not so miserable right now? The next tool to use is to get something done. I don't know about you, but when I have a bad day, all I want to do is hide. Seriously, I start picturing going back on our honeymoon again, but alone this time, just so I can swing in a hammock. When things start to get rough, we have a tendency to either tense up and be miserable and tight and angry the whole day, or to want to run away and hide. This is fight or flight in the modern world. One thing that can help this is to go and find something meaningful for you to accomplish. It can be something super monumental like going all Marie Kondo on your closet, but it really can be as simple as sending an email that you've been putting off. The point is to find something that's kind of been bugging you and just get it done. By doing this, you're setting in motion progress. Our brains love progress. It creates momentum. It makes us feel good. It gives you happiness and satisfaction. And sometimes that's all it takes to turn everything around and get off the bad day train. The next one is to get control of your thinking. One of the things that can happen is that we get locked in that stress brain. We get stuck in fight or flight. The problem, and it sucks so bad, but fight or flight is in our oldest part of our brain, and it is the closest thing to your brainstem. And guess what? It wins every freaking time over your logical brain. And when it wins, it stops you from having clear thoughts, from being able to justify a situation or think your way out of it, even your opportunity to try to be creative and come up with some way to fix all of this. All of that is shut down. In order to be able to reclaim your thoughts from this jerk that is your fight or flight response, is to get control of your nervous system, and you can do that through breathing. My favorite technique is box breathing, but there are tons of methods. Any kind of stress relief method will help you, and I will link the video I did on stress relief techniques in the cards, but breathing is really the simplest and the easiest. Pick a technique that you like, stick with it, memorize it, and that way you can use it whenever you feel like your stress brain is taking complete control of your day. The next method is to be kind. Kindness is another one of those brain tricks like gratitude, where it is difficult to be kind or to actually witness an act of kindness and continue to be angry or sad. This is the part where I would normally tell you to go ahead and buy a coffee for the person in line behind you, or go to a coworker's desk and say something nice, but we kind of can't do that right now. We're going to need to get creative. Just because we can't see people in person right now doesn't mean that you couldn't send off a quick text. You could send an email to tell someone how important they are, to say thank you to them, to just do something that is kind for someone else. You could also, while you're out on your very rare trips to the grocery store, pick up real cards that you could send to someone. Or perhaps you could just write a letter to someone and send it through the mail. You could order a gift card online and have it sent to the person, but it really does not have to have any monetary value at all for it to affect you and then to later affect the person that receives the kindness. The seventh tool is to get moving. The last corporate job that I had was awful. I had an incompetent manager, I had needy clients. I found myself on the end of a bad day more times than I would like to count. One of the most reliable ways for me to shake off the bad day was a good, hard run. Exercise is a fantastic way to change your brain chemistry around. It will help boost your mood. It will actually increase your productivity, and it gives you those awesome endorphins that we're all chasing all the time. All of this combined can be a great way to turn that day around. But you don't have to do some hard, intense 5-mile run in order for you to get the benefits. Even a 20-minute walk can be enough to help change your brain chemistry and improve your day. Here we are again. It's like every video. The next option is to find the funny. Ever wonder why the internet is covered in memes and cat videos? It's because we love funny. It makes us feel good, it gives us endorphins, and it changes our brain chemistry. If you find yourself in a funk, take a minute and go to your favorite site and find something funny. Or if you're at the end of a bad day, put on your favorite sitcom or funny movie and just relax and enjoy the turnaround that it will bring you. Number 9 is to take care of yourself. Let's face it, if we're pressed for time or we're stressed or quarantine's weird, the first thing that we let go of is self-care. I am a classic case of this terrible behavior. And as a matter of fact, because of this, that is one of the big reasons that I ended up burned out. As drastic and overdramatic as it seems, a bad morning can actually be a slippery slope. It can turn into a bad day, that turns into a bad week, that turns into a bad month. If you're feeling particularly pressed for time, and that's the reason that you haven't taken care of yourself, I'm going to link my video about how you can make more time in your day in the cards. It really is all about figuring out what your priorities are and then bumping that self-care a lot further up the list. However, if you do have time, take some time to do something that makes you totally happy and relaxed and doesn't necessarily have any other value than that. Number 10 is to break your routine. One of the sensations that tends to overtake us when we're having a bad day is the feeling that we're stuck. Now, maybe there are genuinely some situations in your life where you are just stuck there. You don't have a whole lot of control. You might want to change them, but really just right now you can't, like being stuck at home in quarantine. But that doesn't mean there aren't some smaller things that you can do to change up life that will actually help change the way you feel and improve your mood. Realizing that there are some things that you have control of will help you break out of that funk. Find a new recipe to make for dinner, or pick a different restaurant to order carryout from. Try a different workout routine, or try some yoga. Change the background on your Zoom calls, whatever it takes. Work with what you got, where you are, but do something different, and that will help you realize you do have a fair amount of control over the things that are going on in your life, and you can break the pattern and do something different, and realizing that will help you get rid of that horrible stuck feeling that can tend to overwhelm your thoughts. Question of the day: what is your favorite way to kick the funk that comes with a bad day? Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead down and hit the like button, and also hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. If you're interested in further reading about this topic, check out the show notes because there'll be a link down there to an article that I wrote about this. Also, you can click on the link to my 5 Days to Less Stress program so you can help get rid of some of the stress that all of this quarantine crap is throwing at us. And also, you can click on the link to get on my calendar for your free one-on-one call. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.